Good na. Hey guys, it's me, Daddy.
And Kalel,
Today we're playing
Itty Bitty Airport.
Itty Bitty Airport Roblox. I in it. Okay, so what do we do here? Welcome to Itty Bitty Airport beta version 1.8.2. Select a save slot, start game.
Minecraft is in what 1 what? I don't know.
1.8.2. Now select the outdoor flooring.
Advantage by second pick this dice when you move via Scrabble, like the buy and the power up dice, and everything in gamer respectively. And I'll also add each of these Scrabble properties as separate properties where you don't buy them, you get them via the Scrabble property. We're not the Scrabble game we're talking. Also, eventually run out of Scrabble tiles, you can no longer use this option, meaning there's a finite amount of Scrabbling that you can do with this game. If it's still too overpowered, I might end up adding a cost via Scrabble, like having to pay $100 to do so, or something like that. In terms of the spaces we're adding, each color group only has one property, so 8 of those, but also there are 4 railroad spaces and 2 utility spaces. Being this game has introduced 14 total spaces. Our final count up to 117 for this video. Just a couple more things for this version. You have to pay to replace your Scrabble tiles in this version, and $100 for each replacement is normal Scrabble, where you can say, I don't want these, and they get new ones. And if you use all of your Scrabble tiles in one turn, you can choose any property currently not owned by a player and get it for free. And you also get $1,000 because why not? I think the reason
Did you do the
I this
runway?
game is the final game of
Did you do the
Roblox is
runway?
because it's really funny that to make the game that combines every Monopoly, we also need to add Scrabble. Like just an entire game of Scrabble. And thus, we have closed the book on part 1 of the Amalgamy. And here is a recap of the size of the
Okay.
game so far. 117 total spaces
I
made up
think
of
you
30 standard
listening to
properties,
free
22
airports.
empire properties, 14 scrap properties, 4 railroads, 3 utilities, 6 spin spaces, 4 tax spaces, 2 ghost
You can
spaces,
see
4 Mario pipes, 20 other spaces I don't feel like
rest
naming,
about the space
7
more
dice,
indoor
7
floor.
different decks, cards, 7 Googlings, plus Bowser Jr. Vic for 8 total bosses, 13 selectable characters, a training unit, a deal
Okay.
mobile, a big man, a wage gap, and an entire game of Scrabble. First take, baby! And that's only for part 1. Also, here's a rough layout of the board. But by the way, do you guys like this logo? I think it's cool. I drew it myself. In the description of this video, there will be links to the instructions for all the games I've covered so far, so you can tell me all about the stupid mistakes I've made. But I could only find the Miss Monopoly instructions in German, so I also left a link for Google Translate. And as a reminder, also in the description there will be a link to Massacre's Mansion, big old series about the Uno Amalgam, which you should watch if you like this video. If you have any Monopoly versions you want to see get added to the Amalgopoly, comment them down below. I honestly really love some ideas on where to go next. And of course, you should smash that subscribe button. Or I don't really care. Bye. I like Monopoly. It's true. I'm quite fond of this game. But in addition to Monopoly, I also like Monopoly. This Monopoly, and also this Monopoly. I also like these Monopolies. Can't forget about this Monopoly. This one's got
What does your
Mario, so
airport
that's
look like?
pretty cool. This one is a Monopoly, but it's also a Scrabble. but I also like Scrabble.
Help me.
So this one is twice as good. So because I
Why?
like all of
Try
these
to place the
options, I
air
decided to
stairs,
combine
and for some
every
Here.
reason
single
it was
one
that
in
way.
this
There's a
into
square here.
one
Should be
monstrous
here.
amount.
Should
Because
be
it
here.
would then stand to reason that I would like to resolve
I know you square.
Oh,
that. But
I
why
should be
stop?
facing the airport.
There's a couple of thousand Monopoly games. So
where should I put it?
and
There's a box.
there one that's
Ayan o, yellow box.
Is there?
Yellow box. Oh.
or get
You need to rotate it. Rotate.
And
Ah,
this?
ah.
universe. This is asking the game and what has no sense. No come out with this right? It is for the lost of also sincerely every Monopoly game changing the question. I'm only going to create this game for this. Two, we're only at Monopolies that actually change something for the game. If it's just a theme Monopoly and it changes the properties and stuff, then we're not going to have it. There's nothing to have. It's just Monopoly. We already had Monopoly. Well, three, always tries to add mechanics instead of plays and rarely ever mechanics. No matter how stupid the mechanic is, we have to add it. Unless it like completely breaks the game, in which case we're obviously not going to have that. It's got to be crazy. Rule 5, we are trying to make it not a game. We're going to try to keep certain Monopoly mechanics, like enough of dollars, via dice, and those are all just my problem. But I'm going to need to add 60. That means we're only adding official version of Monopoly. For instance, I have version you know, the main reason I don't need to do that is because there are probably thousands of Monopoly knockoffs, Monopoly linked games. And if I had to add all of those to the Monopoly, I would be doing this for the rest of my life. And I kind of the best way to tell something is an official Monopoly game, and it has to be titled Monopoly as opposed to a self-fiction game. So please stop suggesting that this also means we'll be covering any man-made Monopoly games like insane Monopoly. Insane Monopoly. Enjoy being on your time, keeping it crazy. Monopoly. Once this is finished, I mean, the third game, you can have Donkey Kong. That's right. Speaking of tabletop simulator, as a reminder, I'm learning this Monopoly. Monopoly is expensive to me, and then while designing the game, I got to worry about, oh, is this feasible to actually visible market? And that's just not what Apple is seriously about. A lot of people suggest making a tabletop simulator instead. Really, making a proper video game of the Monopoly game. I think there have been Monopoly video games before where it's just Monopoly. You just play Monopoly, so I see no reason why making it a Monopoly video game. I think that's just the mechanic, a bit of instruction manual, every 10 seconds to understand everything. Make the game a little frustrating. One problem though, I don't know how to make video games. So I either have to learn how to make video games or need someone else to make them. I haven't decided yet. Take that hand down the road for now and you know what the problem is. New games, I missed a couple of things from previous videos that left out. So then you don't get you to be on base. Third, you get you to get out of jail instead of banks. Situation is pretty good out of jail and keeping up with us too. We also got into tax cases sucks. We'll let you do this game is money. You're going to down. I think simple 1.5 is that male is introductory, female 360, non-binary. This game plays with different utilities, water, tax space. So, yeah, shut for tax space. Why not? Problems about tax dollars. They do function a lot like the bonus part. They change stuff. I think they're still going to add the entire space, all space, and so when it comes to these things, similar mechanics, the bonus part, I'm just going to add all of them to this. Save it all for the end. Also, the Empire did have utilities, but the way they function is they had more boards if you landed on that you could buy one of those spaces. But if you only need the utility, you don't get the rent. All of the same pieces are not value. Anyways, enough about this stupid game. Taking way too long to talk about already. Nothing new with this one. Okay, this game is driving me insane. Alright, enough of this intro. We're at 127 spaces, so let's jump into some new Monopoly game. Let's start off with Monopoly Secret Vault. The main gimmick of this game is, if you can believe it, a secret vault. At the beginning of the game, you place 400 $, one key, and one hotel into the vault. We're getting to these two things in a minute, but in order to open the vault, you need to roll this symbol on the dice. With these, you get 3 spaces, or on a space that you pay, or you guess. And then you pay, and then you
For the chicken, I might go.
Expensive between 1 and 6. See if it's
For the chicken, I might go bankrupt
everything
on these things.
and you put more
Why?
stuff in the vault, shut it again, and the same thing happens.
Am I the-
Also, if you're wrong, then you're wrong. But what about those other things in the vault? Starting with hotels, this game doesn't actually allow you to buy hotels. You instead have to get them from the vault. So they're a very limited resource. Now, the Monopoly doesn't have hotels because City murdered them in cold blood, but there are a couple of buildings from City that we could place inside of the vault instead, which I'm gonna do that. Yeah,
Why
instead
are
of
there no
hotels,
people?
these buildings will be inside the vaults because they're valuable and stuff. What about these keys, though? Well, this version of Monopoly has some properties that aren't locked, and you can't buy them even if you land on them. Instead, whenever you get a key from a vault, you choose one of the properties to unlock, and you then get that property for free. Now, in terms of implementing this game into the Amalgamy, there's already something that functions pretty similarly to the
I'm
vault.
gonna add
That
security
being
first.
free market jackpot. It's not 1-to-1, but I think they are pretty similar, and I found an elegant way to combine both of these mechanics. Now, there's this one kind of small little indie video game I want to take a little bit of inspiration from. You might have heard of it. It's called Mario Party. One of the boards is called King Bowser's Keep, and the main gimmick of this board is that whenever you lose coins or stars from a Bowser space, it goes into this vault. Then you have to try and guess the combination of the vault. You'll just get all the coins and the stars inside. Needless to say, I'm gonna do a plagiarism. Well, actually, this whole series is a plagiarism, so I guess we're double plagiarizing here. So, at the start of the game, put $400 $, a key, and a stadium into the vault. Then, as you play the game, whenever you owe money to the bank, like purchasing properties, getting out of jail, or landing on tax bases, you place that money into the vault, increasing the amount of money inside. Whenever you roll this symbol or land on one of these spaces, you have a chance to guess the vault combination, which you're probably going to end up making more difficult than just a 1 in 6 chance. And if you guess correctly, you get all of the stuff that was inside, and also get to become the deal or the big man. I'm still not 100% sure if which gained every time you guess, you draw a free parking bonus card. However, if you land on free
There's so
parking, you skip the gap and just
there's so
get
much
all the
light
money
that I
inside
can't see.
instantly. I think this is a good way of combining these mechanics. It incorporates elements
I think I'm gonna have
and
it.
feels fairly balanced within the larger context of the game. The only thing that's up in the air is whether or not I'll have this space on the free parking spinner to instantly give you the money inside the vaults, like if you need parking, or just give you the opportunity to guess. The last thing this game has that whenever you cast go, in addition to getting 200 Monopoly dollars, you also place an additional 50 Monopoly dollars into the vault. Cool. And that's everything from this game. We added 4 of these guest free spaces and 2 of these pay to guest spaces, adding 6 total
Why is there security here?
133 spaces. Now let's move on to Monopoly Pokemon from 1995. Why did they not call it Pokemonopoly? Because the people who made this game are cowards. So, this game changes nothing. So, why am I talking about it? Well, the instructions do list a set of optional rules to add a bit of spice to the game. All of them having to do with rolling doubles. Whenever you roll doubles, instead of just getting an extra turn after you move, you can instead choose to activate a special effect.
Because the
Each
coffee
number
shop
you roll
doesn't
doubles
fit.
of having a different effect. If you roll
Doesn't
double
fit.
sixes, you can essentially duel someone for one of their properties. You each roll a die, and whoever gets the higher number gets the property. However, if someone owns a full color set, you can't duel them for any of the properties in that color set. If you roll double fives, you can draw a
Yeah,
chest card.
yeah, I like it, man. Problem. I like it, man.
Rolling double threes lets you steal 50 Monopoly dollars from an opponent, and
I like
rolling
it, that
two twos lets you
problem.
grab 200 Monopoly dollars from the bank. However, if you roll snake eyes, you can choose to go to any space on the board. One issue I have with this is that when Mega Monopoly introduced the speed die, it also added that whenever you roll triples, you can move to any space on the board. I
Your
just
freaking
worry
even
that
that
by
big,
allowing you
so
to go to
I'm
any
not
space
gonna
on the board when
add
you
a
roll snake
moving
eyes,
one
kind of
point
lessens the
instead.
value
I'll
of doing
just
so, because
add a
that's going to happen
vegetable.
kind of often with the 3 dice we have now. It's a 1 in 18 chance.
So,
And I don't know. I just feel like maybe doing that, it's a little too much. We might have to cut that and replace it with something else.
but people
Once
were
again,
eating.
saving the
Sure,
nitty gritty
what time
stuff
it
for
is.
phases 2 and 3. But just I figured I'd let you know, okay? Because we're all in this together. That's pretty much everything from Pokemonopoly. So let's talk about something that changes a lot of things, like Monopoly Chance. No, not that one. This one. So the reason this Monopoly is a little... let's talk about something that changes a lot of things, like Monopoly Chance. No, not that one. This one. So the reason this Monopoly is a little different is because it's not Monopoly at all. We have a super small board, only 1 die. You don't pay rent. You don't even move any pieces around the board. What even is this? How is this Monopoly at all? Instead, this Monopoly game involves placing cash cards onto properties in order to take buildings to add to your skyline. I know that doesn't really explain a whole lot, so let me walk you through how this game works. Okay, so you have a deck of cards, and on your turn, you roll the die, and that determines up to how many cards you can draw. Each player has their own deck of cards which they draw from. So, in this artistic recreation of the game, I just drew 4, meaning I can draw up to 4 cards. I draw 1 card, and it's 8 million cash cards. Each deck of cards has cash cards ranging from 2 million to 12 million. I draw another card, and it's 2 cards which I add to my hand and can use later. I'll explain what this card is in a bit. I decide to draw another card, and it's a $11 million cash card. Although I can draw another card, as I wrote before, I decide to cash out. And it's a good thing that I did, because if I didn't, I would have drawn a bankrupt card, forcing me to discard all of the cards that I just drew. So, I've got an $8 million cash card and an $11 million cash card to place on the board. The way this game works is that you can only place a cash card on a property if that cash card has a higher value than the property. So to place a cash card on Illinois Avenue, it has to be worth $6 million or more. But other players place cash cards onto the board as well. If the board looked like this and the player had played a 10 million cash card on Pennsylvania Avenue, I'd have to place a cash card of higher value than $10 million on top of it. So let's say I decide to place the 8 million on New York Avenue and the 11 million on North. The round continues until single property has at least one cash card on it, and then everyone gets one more turn. Now, every property that you are the owner of at the end of the round, you take a building from and then add it.
Where do you think I should place walls?
Hmm?
Where do you think I should place walls?
To your
This
skyline.
is a bit
So
tough.
in this scenario, although I placed a cash
What? Where do you think I should place the wall?
Hmm?
Where do you think I
because
should
someone else
place
placed
the
a cash
wall?
card on top of mine, I am not the owner of it, but because my cash card is still on top of the boardwalk, I am the owner of that property and get to add one building next to my
Making me
skyline.
crazy.
The game ends when
Why?
somebody's skyline reaches a certain point, making them the winner. Although, in addition to the cash cards, your deck of cards also
Where you
has
should
some
place
other
walls,
cards, which
Samba.
I will now explain. There are the bankrupt cards, where when you draw one, you're
After the security.
cards. There's also the lucky break card, where when you draw one, essentially you deal it bankrupt card. There's also the flip two cards. When you draw these, add them to your hand, and you can use them anytime the rest of the round. When another player has chosen to cast out, you can play this card to force them to draw and flip over to the card. Or the equivalent of saying, come on, it's just one more three. Functioning similarly are the no card. Once again, when you draw one of these, you add it to your hand, and you play it to either prevent the player from playing a flip two card on you, or placing a cash card on a property you currently own. Lastly, there are the token cards. When you draw one, you can choose to place it on one of the four corner spaces, each of them providing a different benefit. If you place it on go, you can look through your deck of cards, select a cash card to play, and then shuffle it so you don't cheat, because you know where all the cards are. Don't cheat. That's bad. If you place it on free parking, you can place any cash card you drew that turn onto any property, regardless of the current value of that property. If you place it on jail, look through your discard pile and choose a cash card to place on a property. And if you place it on go to jail, you can remove another player's cash card from the board. So, how in the heck am I meant to implement this into the Amalgamy? Well, I think I came up with something that could work. Not work well, but could work on your turn after you've done all the standard Monopoly gameplay, roll dice, buying properties, paying rent, all of that stuff. You then take your Monopoly chance turn, where you do all the card drawing stuff and everything on a second board. So you'll be essentially playing two games at once, which I know isn't exactly ideal, but ideal is not what we're going for. We're going for kind of works. However, instead of playing buildings at your skyline, you'll be playing billboards at your empire top, which will increase the rent for your empire properties. The whole adding buildings to a skyline thing reminded me a lot of how rent works in Monopoly Empire, and I think that by offering some pretty big billboards and therefore some pretty big rent increases, it'll incentivize players to actually care about this aspect of the game, instead of being this annoying thing. It's scary. It's not exactly perfect. You might end up changing it to make it feel better in the game. I try to make it basically another place more money down. And I tried to think of saying something like that, and it ended up actually portraying all that ultimately
I'm already done streaming. So, what I do?
But of course, say it with me, I don't know what these chance cards do, and it's not a complete list on mine, which is going to be a recurring problem for this series. So, yeah, that's fun. If you've got a list, I don't know, let me know or something. I found a couple online, but not a complete list. So, yeah, fun. I love this series. Okay, I think we'd all appreciate something much simpler for our next game. Introducing the top.
Yung chicken. Hello. Ay, nabura. Sayang.
plus 2. Every time you have go, you draw a stone. Choose place on other properties. Then, whenever any player limits that space, they have to pay money to pay. And have on keeper and spaces are safe land. It also nullifies any other effects of that state. So, for example, if the storms report campfire spaces, you no longer cover a land. This mechanic actually fixes one of the biggest problems that you know about had, is that the game became too long. Monopoly is already a pretty long game, and the public spaces is connected to the game really fast. But first of all, yeah, it's gonna take a while. That's kind of the whole point. Your second law has more mediate the effects of their game. Alright, it's the end. I just want to go back to this. Really makes zero sense. What the hell was I trying to say? Because as the game goes on, more and more space will slowly get taken over. By the time every space, nearly every space is being taken by the story. Players will be constantly hemorrhaging money, meaning everyone is slowly getting closer to bankruptcy. I'm not sure how harsh I want to make this work because it can also take, like, space if you don't get too much talk about as you go. Which feels a little hard out now. Phase 2 is active now. I forget it. One thing I am definitely going to change is that in Monopoly format, if you start with the property, the player owns that property basically doesn't own it. I don't like that full being a game Monopoly because it means that if you spend a lot of time and money for the property, that's just one thing. Yes, and I know that this is a thing. You get into that's done. Yeah, that makes the game fun. And it's great. All I did oh well, it's my video. I can do this where I want.
Oh, you have to air ano na,
What?
2 runways.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the.
Yeah, it's we're gonna talk about that. It's very next time about it. Oh yeah, but now
I'm still waiting for the medium
anyway, let's talk about
runway because they really want a Boeing 17. So, oh right, I only have 32 discounts as a How about the Wi-Fi, bro? Don't worry, I'm not
Stacy also stopped you in the vehicle state. So the matters not listening and it's stopping you. Once you get stopped by a wall once, it makes you don't choose this for a long action die. You can break over the like yeah, fun thing in this game. Any space in the world starting out here, why not? And that now despite the adding 8 stages, it certainly gains quite a bit. Although I've been reading up on this game and writing it into experience, I've literally how can there never be a monopoly Minecraft that feels like a slam dunk just changing the properties of buying your structure, making the railroads and the variant and rainbow having
Monopoly Minecraft.
$1 million right there. I mean, people I lately interested in brain drain. The one thing is that I was looking at the down to about an entire game. And here's a rough layout of emphasis.
Well, you have a get a third space. Now you have four spaces. Because the game is, because the board is getting so large that I don't even know what's gonna happen. How to get the walls?
Hmm?
How to get the walls? I want wall. Where do you get the walls? Dad,
Doon sa dito. Utilities.
utility. Oh, utilities.
Rough, because this thing is an absolute mess. There will be links to instructions for all the games I've talked about so far, so you can find out all the dumb mistakes I've made. And if you have any Monopoly versions you want to see me cover next time, then leave a comment down below. And subscribe. Or don't. I don't care. Today, we're adding 11 brand new game modes into Roblox Tower Defense. 3 easy, 4 medium, and 4 hard game modes. Some of them being insane, such as Chips Plus and Unbeatable. But first, let's start over in the easy category. So starting off in the easy category, you have Hero Solo, Random Strength, and Ultra Easy, which is pretty hilarious, I think. So if we're doing Hero Solo, I feel like you want someone that can actually solo, right? So Roblo's gonna be the first pick for me, and we can just jump into Hero Solo.
Need a new
I know
runway.
this is supposed to be literally that's all you get. You literally can only use a hero. Wait, that's crazy. So you can only use her on. This doesn't seem like an
They
easy
increase
game
the
mode at all. This
capacity.
actually seems like medium
What?
difficulty, right? Like this doesn't
Capacity
seem
of
all that like what? But at least we only have to go to round 40 to be able to beat her. So I don't think this will be all too challenging. And especially, do I even want to get the rare Quincy action figure? Is that like worth it? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I mean, so far so good. I mean, it's your Roldo, and if you put enough money into him, you're doing fine. Guys, wait, I Roldo can't hit leg balloons. You literally can't hit leg balloons. Wait, if I can have enough lives, or am I literally just going oh my gosh, Roldo can't do it. It even shows. Solo hero, it shows that it's using our Toy Striker Jones. By the way, it's not the best for a solo hero. We're gonna put him down. Do you think Striker Jones can solo? Let's find out.
What level are you?
Wait,
Four.
might just be able to pull this off. I gotta get this off.
No, Lord.
But we might just be able
What
to.
level are you?
Wait, no, wait. Wait, we have like 1 second left on this. Maybe we get a range and then you just. Oh my god, Striker Jones actually did it. Okay, that's crazy. Next up is Random Strength. What is Random Strength even? Wait, so does every move that spawn just so you would like? Oh, it looks like okay. So you got camo region or camo region. So is that how also all right off the bat though you have to get
They just deleted one item.
and then
One.
they've got regen on them as well. And so you're always gonna have to deal with like every single type of blue. Which I mean right at the start that's like not that big of a deal. But as it gets further into it, that's gonna be more challenging to deal with, right? I think Village is gonna be really good in this game mode, right? because you need to be able to see camos and you want to deal with regions. So I think that's going to be like a super solid option for us. Look at this road 21. Look at all these regions that we got. Okay, we're going to get sharpshooter, which is going to be really nice. And then obviously we want to get ninja. And then we can go ahead and black is going to be really nice, just kind of as a stun. I mean, having to deal with all different types of things right off the bat definitely makes you change it. And I bet it's scale. Like the only go around with all of these, I mean, imagine having to have all the volumes on them, like that. Alright, we're on 39 now. The question is, hold on. 59. Okay, so you got like a big. That's not long. Alright, so, strategic over 1,000 lives. Oh my gosh, Paragon what everything is so cheap. Do you get bonus money? Okay. Oh my gosh, literally you have nothing happening. So you literally play by default, you have nothing happening. How crazy is that? Wait, so does this also gives you $40 point even banana bar start off and stuff? What? Wait, that's insane. Like, actually, totally hard to look at how fast our money is going. And we got 1,000 lives. Everything is ridiculously cheap, like $400. Alright. If we're not joking, they're talking about being ultra cheap. You make crazy money. What? Alright, here we go. Marketplace. What round 13 and purchase? Yeah, they actually here we can get laser cannon. We're fine. We've already made it. Alright, we'll double up. We'll get Dark Knight, Wild Fly. We're good. Alright, send the last wave. I have to deal with it. That's great. Yeah, that was. Yep, that's all easy. Obviously, in Europe, so. Random strength. Oh, pretty fun. Ultra baby. So, medium. There's all strength in me. That means you drink like having everything be modified in is it actually? So, every. Wait. That means everything is a region. Wait, that means everything is the longest. No way, right? Look at this. They're all regions. They're all regions in wait. Boy, this thing is really difficult. Okay, I think Sniper's gonna be. Okay, so with this, every single region is upgraded. Actually, every single region is upgraded max of what it can be. Okay, so does this mean, let's just for example, let's go with this 28, right? And what are the. Oh my god, every region ammo. That is insane. What? That seems really insane. I would take a look at it. Then you have to do okay. And then obviously people have to get so fortified DND. That is diabolical. That's the they definitely it's like the next level. Not the middle now. Which I think is really awesome. This is what seems like one place. Again, if you want to see me do like a action, let me know. But because there's literally 11 hits, we don't have time. I'm just kind of showcasing on what. Wait, what? I start $1. So you have enough. Okay, so basically you can't do enough for the and then $1. That is wait. So that means at the end. So like getting money. Wait. So let's see. So we're like playing too fast. You know, let's get. We'll just save up, get split gun, which is pretty nice. then I think from there it just becomes pretty straightforward, right? So with this one, it's just all starting. Not bad, right? I think it does. It seems like everything's still making sense. So look, I mean, by 18, I think we've already made it back. By opening it, but yeah. So you're able to make a comeback pretty quickly. So it's just like that initial starting phase where things become a little bit different. But after you're able to do that, things are pretty. All right, so the next one is called Curious, which I can't figure out exactly what it's supposed to do. I think it means it's not about to, or any support items in the game, but I don't think it's like one of those. It's just like and I still have thinking home. So might be something that oh, that's what it's supposed to do. We got what's here now. I put down the should so I think it will go around. Actually, it's not bad. I think but I mean, you can throw down an engineer. So I think it's perhaps like that. You look at that. You get they should be good. What about you take a little time? So you have one, you can raise, and then you've got double trouble. So, it does look like I don't know if you're maybe it's not. That's crazy. This should make you can't sell. No, no, that is insane. Like that is crazy. Makes it even more shit. It did show that it might is that gonna be a so it's like oh, it's not like a fight. It does right I can use normal power. I'm pretty okay, well wait. You can see this I haven't been actually so I definitely did I think so you don't forget like I'm 16. I think it's more expensive to get a
Yeah, yun na po.
diet on. So just kind of it was crazy but the more challenging to get by. There's no control. I'm assuming means that everyone okay, so seems well but the work and it's a good way to test. How do you like? I mean, this seems like almost a count. That's like it's that. I can't do it. It'd be just
Did you see my runway?
Is that a second runway?
I'm not even gonna look at it.
Yeah, already
Hopefully we
have a
don't find
second.
it.
Why did you
And
delete
now we have
yours?
the final one,
Make
which is
You need to
unbeatable.
put ano pala,
That
the
is scary.
jetways,
Why is it unbeatable? You
air
start with $300.
stairs,
What?
more air
$300
stairs.
is
Don't mind.
crazy. And now you have to deal with
Don't
like
mind,
just
Kalel.
crazy. Is everything even more expensive? Super Monkey still seems to be like the default price. So things are full price. But I think it just starts to make everything ridiculously expensive, right? Can you sell things? You can't sell anything. Do you have a banana? No banana farms. So you're playing with the chips rule set. Oh my gosh, you only have one life. Literally, you've got one life. Powers. So magic flies are turned off.
I'm making a medium drop.
What are you supposed to do against this thing? It seems pretty close to chips though. So is there going to be special round sends that you're going to have to deal with? For example, like is round 40 going to be normal? I hope it is. Dude, that thing is... Wait, is that faster than normal? I can't tell if it's faster. It definitely looks faster. And it definitely seems stronger. Like, let's go ahead. Let's see if we just got a... Alright, we're just going to put a blade bar down. Bruh! It almost got past the claymore! Okay, so things are way stronger, way faster, and honestly, way worse to deal with. So that's unbeatable. I don't even want to try it. If you guys want to see me doing a video actually beating these, trying getting these game modes, let me know. These seem really fun. Your channel force up for the creation of these awesome game modes.
This is my daughter Salish, and she thinks parenting is super easy.
I'm gonna be the best ever.
So today, Salish will raise a child and watch them grow up from a baby all the way to an adult. She'll face a challenge at every age. Sleepless nights, tantrums, teenage drama, and even a new boyfriend.
You ever cheated or you want a girl?
What? Mom, what are you doing? Seriously?
Everything real parents have to deal with. Every time she fails a challenge, she gets a strike. If she gets 3 strikes, she loses the challenge.
Kalel, ito kuya. Kinuhain na kuya, please.
Kuya na. Hearing me.
Laka... Oh. They're crashing into each other. The planes are crashing to each other. kuya. Oh,
But
pwede na daw.
what?
So, bye!